Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are tuned into. This is a very, very special and wonderful day because it is the very first Sunday of the new year. And on that note, I would like to wish each and everyone a happy 2026. Happy New Year, folks. And we are back here on Euroforum again with your one and only host, Samantha Elf, all the way from Finland. Family is often the first place where we learn love, values, and belonging. But for many of us, family is also where expectations are born. Expectations that shape our lives, our identities, and sometimes even our happiness. Tonight, we are having an honest and respectful conversation about parenthood and family expectations and how they affect the way we live, love, and choose our paths. Our key question today will be a very powerful one that says, should parents have a say in who we love? With me tonight are two guests and a wonderful lady co-host who will be introducing herself. And later on, we'll have the guests introduce themselves as well. But before we do that, I just want to say that this is not about blaming parents or children. It's about understanding, listening, and learning from different lived experiences. Join me today as we talk about how our family expectations affect or influence our lives. With me tonight is a special lady, Joanita. Joanita, please introduce yourself, and you're most welcome to Euroforum Uganda.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Samantha. Yes, my name is Jonita, and I am the blessed co-host with our main host, Samantha, here today. And I am also looking forward to what today has to bring. And I'm looking forward to hopefully interaction from you guys into this very interesting topic that we have here today. Yeah, that's really it. So I would start the day with today with a prayer. I'm hoping, because I think that's the as we do that, let's just humble ourselves for some prayer, if that's okay. Back to Samantha.
Thank you very much, Joanita. And to all our viewers out there, you know that ordinarily or usually it is Samantha that does the praying. But this time I am flipping the mic and taking it on to our new co-host today, who has a lady of Denmark, and she is going to be doing the honors tonight. So, Joanita, we are ready, and please take us through. Humble yourselves all for our wonderful Joanita.
Yes, so thank you, God. I mean, where do I start? Thank you, Father, for permitting us to be here today. This is the first Sunday of 2026. And God, we are here before you, thanking you for bringing us through 2025 and putting us towards 2026. We have so much to be grateful for, oh God, and we just want to thank you for good health, good wealth, provision, faith, goodness, and grace, and that we will believe that it's going to continue to be poured into our lives in this very year that we find ourselves in. We honor you here today, and we pray that you may bless our guests, bless our co-hosts and hosts, and bless the whole team that is behind UG Forum. Thank you so much, God, for everything you've done, all you're going to do, and all that you have ever done. And in that we pray, and everybody say what? Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful
Mm.
prayer. I should actually confess and say that Jonita prayed much better than I do myself. What you guys out there think? Yeah. By the way, today, as we start this wonderful topic, feel free to invite a friend, to invite another friend to come and let's learn, share, and wine, the evening together. We are here on Neurofarm Uganda, and with you, we usually talk about different topics where we help people, learn, sensitize, and we also just simply chat and talk to people based on our daily and life experiences. Yeah. I have a few ground rules today that we're going to go through. And the first one will be that we want to respect all perspectives. And then we are speaking from personal experience. Yeah. And then lastly, this is a safe place for honest conversation. So feel free to join in, send your comments. And remember that we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Yeah. Twitter, actually. I think it's not Insta. I think it's Twitter. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube. But for those of you that would like to learn more or join Euroforum, you can always find us on any one of those platforms. Moving forward, I would like to now request Jonita once again to kindly introduce our guests tonight.
Yes, yes. So thank you so much, Samantha. Yes, so we have some amazing guests here today, and I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out on their perspectives. And I'm also looking forward to their perspectives on the topic for today. And so our first guest here today is Mr. Richard Ntege, who is all the way from the UK. He is an aircraft engineer and active in community work. And I'm so delighted and honored to be chatting with you here today, Mr. Richard. Thank you so, so much.
Sorry, it's a privilege, Jonita. I almost muted myself. And thank you for having such an awesome show today. I'm looking forward to joining in. It's a
Yes,
great privilege.
thank you so much. Yes. And then we move on to our second guest, who is a known face here on UG Forum, and it's none other than Mr. Cross, Bonnie Cross, all the way from Taiwan. Welcome to you too. And for those who do not know, Mr. Cross, or Bonnie Cross, is a music teacher, an artist, and a music producer, and also involved in a lot of community work, in particular, from what I understand, among the youth. So I'm also looking very forward to speaking to you and to hear what you have to say. And again, I know you are really here, and I know the time difference is huge. So I just want to say we appreciate your presence here today. And as always, thank you so much for being here. So that's really it. And I'm going to throw that back to Samantha. The welcome, Bonnie.
Well, yes, thank you very much. And just to throw more light again, our two guests tonight have been here on Eurofarm Uganda so many times, and we always want to apprehend and appreciate you guys for sparing your lovely time to come when you're called upon. Your time is valued. We are so, so grateful. As we start tonight's show, I would like to reintroduce the topic, that is, how do family expectations affect or influence our lives? Yeah. With a catch being that should parents have a say in our love affairs, or should parents have a say in who we love? To start with, I would like to ask Richard. Richard, when you hear the term family expectations, what does it mean to you personally?
Expectations tend to range in a couple of things. It's success, it's responsibility, and I'll say longevity of a family. So when I say success, most of the times our parents, they invest in us from a very young age, and so in the investment they have a certain expectation from you. We've put this much in you, and we expect you to bring something back within our investment. Then I'll come to responsibility. At different ages, you have expectations. If you're a kid, you're expected to do certain things as a kid, and as you grow up, you have a certain expectation. And that's where it comes to. And then longevity, it's how you pass on the family, or should I say, prolong your family. And that's the three categories I'm really going to walk into. And that's the way I kind of see it. I don't know if anybody differs from that. Thanks.
No, right? Actually, I think I agree with you on a very, very high percentage. And I just want to, supplement what you said, that our family expectations are often invisible but deeply powerful. People are there. Some of them are very silent. They don't tell you exactly what you need to do or what they expect of you. And then immediately you go astray. That is when you will hear, from the sides that, how could he bring, an unlearned or uneducated woman home? How could he move out with, such a short girl? Or how couldn't he study and go up to the university? So yes, as in, family expectations to me are usually invisible. You don't hear them, you don't see them, but they are very, very powerful. And many of us, me inclusive, we usually mind what our family, has to say about different decisions in life. Moving on, I just want to hear from Jonita as well. Could you tell us? Could you take us through your opinion on what you think about family expectations and what it does mean to you personally? Sorry, Jonita, you're muted.
Yes, sorry. I would also definitely agree with Mr. Ntege, and I'll also say that family expectations can be developed in many in a couple of should I say topics. So if you look, it depends on where the family expectations are coming from. Some have them over career and education. You can also have them, as Mr. Ntege said, success and then the responsibility. But they can also be, I think, they can be quite cultural. And they can also be teamed up as in gender. Sometimes our expectations or the expectations that we have of our families can be very gendered. That if you're a woman, you're expected to do certain things. And if you're a male, you are also expected to do different things. And then depending on which culture you're in, the expectations can be different. And they can be very contextualized, depending on where you live, who you are, and also which family you come from. And so I experience often that these expectations sometimes can push us to be better. They can hold us back. They can make us stagnant. And so again, I go back to the thing I always say, that sometimes it's about revisiting yourself and reflecting upon yourself, because at the end of the day, these expectations can either pull you back, or they can push you forward, or they can make you stagnant. So what do they bring to your life? And so we need to learn to, again, the whole thing of decluttering and choosing which one one may want to go forward or move forward with. It can be painful, and so forth.
Yeah, thank you, Jonita. Thanks for your input on that one. And now I'd like us to curse and go over to Taiwan, to our brother Curse. There he is. Curse has a very lovely smile. I love it when he smiles. There you go.
I'm flattered. Thank you.
Right, okay, you're welcome. Curse, how is 2026?
So far so good. We thank the Lord, and it feels like it's gonna be a great year. So we all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we talk about family expectations, when was that point in your life when you started feeling your family's impact on your decisions or in your life?
Yeah, I think this is determinant on what kind of family you come from.
Yeah.
Looking at it in the perspective of African families, both monogamous and polygamous, realize the whole issue about expectation comes from how your family is, like the setup of your family, in the sense that if you have a family that's tight, has a tight bond, a lot of is expected from you because you have a tight bond. Everybody's watching the other person. You know how they're gonna make it in life. If you have like a polygamous family, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you do not like uh, cooperate, but if you have a polygamous family, you are from a polygamous family. Well, there could be some expectations, but I don't think the pressure is too much. With that being said, I think again, back to the background of your family, like uh do they really care about how you're gonna make it in life, and their expectations about you, are they realistic, or is it just fantasy? So those are some of the things that have to be considered. And for that case, I think it's a case by case issue, depending on what kind of family it is we're talking about, or like what's the setup of that particular family, and that
Yeah.
determines the expectations they
Mm,
have for an individual in that family. Yeah.
yes. You as an individual, have you often felt that your family expectations affect, or do you feel your family has a say in your life decisions? You as
They actually do. They, because coming from a grounded cultural background, being in Muganda, um, like, because every family wants to maintain a certain kind of prestige, and that flows right from the head, which is the dad, and to the kids. Personally, yes, a lot of there are a lot of high expectations, uh concerning a lot of things in my life, and also being the uh eldest. No, they look up to you, to be a leader, and as an example to your siblings. So yes, the expectations were pretty high, and I was literally like a living example to everybody else, especially my siblings and my cousins and everybody else. Yeah. So yeah, high
yeah,
expectations.
yeah. Speaking of firstborn, I think it's easier being the last kid. I'm the last born, so
Yeah.
when you are last, it's
Yeah.
really no big deal. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want, and you're allowed to get spoiled anyhow. But usually the
Exactly.
first kids, like you said, you always need to set an example. For the
You
rest, yeah, the rest of the kids.
you have it
So
easy as a last born.
that is true. That is why
Yeah.
you should say we're spoiled. But
Sure.
we are here, and it is what it is. Yeah. Okay, Bonnie Cross, I'm still with you. Yeah. Do you believe that expectations are often passed down generationally? Really?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Because listen, even we being parents, and even our parents,
Mm,
them doing whatever they did, achieving what they achieved, they would like to keep a legacy. And wanting to keep a legacy, of course, the expectations become high for your offsprings or your children. So, I mean, if you've worked hard and maintained a certain level of life or lifestyle, and have achieved quite a lot in life, or whatever God has blessed you with, you would love to maintain that, or even make it better, multiply it. And by the sense of that, you realize that also for your children, or even other members of your family, you want them to keep the standard, maintain the standard of what you've achieved in life. So that makes expectations being, uh, let's say, probably high, for the family. They expect a lot.
mm, okay. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Chris, for that input. I would like to now go to our one and only Richard. But before we speak to Richard, I just want to hint to all our viewers out there I want to apologize on behalf of Eurofirm for the fact that we started a few minutes late. We're very sorry about that. We had a few technical issues, but we are glad we're here now because, as the saying goes, it's always better late than never. We are here. And remember to invite a friend, to invite another friend, and come, let's wine and let's talk, let's learn together. Richard, let's talk about the real life impact of these expectations. Yeah. How have family expectations influenced your decisions, career, lifestyle, or relationships?
Oh, a big percentage of it. Thank you so much for that question,
Yes.
Samantha. I have to say they've been mostly positive on the highest parts of it. Now, when it comes to close family, it's been really positive. Now, however, when it comes to the wider side of the family, and I mean extended family, people who don't fully know you, it tends to be kind of negative
Mm,
because you have people who are not fully involved in your life, having certain expectations, or should I say, when we talk about expectations, some people can actually have low expectations of you.
that's right. Yeah.
So there are people who will meet you and they saw you as a certain age,
Mm,
and that's where they remember you.
yeah.
And the first thing they'll do, um, they'll literally say something negative. And let's say you say, well, this is what I do. Certain people will have a negative reaction and then they'll ask around just to clarify. So there's the high expectation of, we expected you to do this. On my side, it was a little kind of the other way. I didn't have the high expectations, they had the opposite. So sometimes when people were like, "Oh, did you finally make it through university?" And you go, "Well, this is what I managed to do." Extended family were not fully happy. And it's only when proof came through that that's what I'm really doing. And well, people were happy. I mean, it's a frenemy kind of thing. So close family, I have to say I was happy because the investment my parents really put in
Mm,
paid off. And I am where I am thanks to God and the family He put me in, because
mm,
they did have an expectation. However much I mess up, I'm still going to make it. However, when I meet extended family, you
mm,
have people who to this day are more disappointed. And you see that in the speech. They'll say, "Well done." You know, the kind of, in England, we have a fake smile like, "Well done."
yeah.
Oh, to Sanya Senor. And it's really not there.
Yeah.
And after that, they tend to put out bars where you can fail. And I mean like little hurdles where you can fail.
Yeah.
So some of the hard expectations they put towards you are not down to you need to succeed. It's you need to fail this next hurdle that was set for you. Oh, you managed to do that? And you managed to do that? Well, can you do this next thing? And after I discovered it was a little bit of a puppet show, or a little bit of a clown show. Do this. We want to see clap, jump through this hoop. And I just thought, well, this is where the expectations change. So certain expectations died and the effect died when I discovered some people within close family were not expecting the best. And
Yeah.
so I really focused for the ones who expected the best and were ready to add something positive and something that moves up to build our family. And I mean close family and extended family. So if somebody gives me an expectation, nowadays, as I finish this point, I give them an expectation of building family. Wanange, oh, what's that? They're like, oh, na
Mm,
abana bemuzadde mugenda bayamba batya tutandike business okola. So if you're telling me get married, I'm going to tell you how are you going to join with the kids that you already have to
yeah.
help us build together as a family. So
Yeah.
give me expectations, expect me to put expectations in you as well. So it becomes a mutual side of things. And it killed the anxiety. I used to have an anxiety,
Yeah.
not depression, not depression. It just
Mm,
used to be an anxiety where I felt like I had to perform until I discovered half of the things people are asking me for, they really didn't achieve.
Yeah.
So it kept me calm. And now I'm more motivated to see the generation we're in getting things carried out. So at first it was anxiety, and now it's kind
Yeah.
of washed out. Yeah.
All right. Was there any sense of guilt and fear of disappointment along the
Oh, no,
journey?
no, 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 no. See, the lovely thing, Samantha,
Yeah.
was when you have low expectations, you ain't got nothing to lose.
All right. I get
High
that.
expectations are the ones that give you the guilt.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. People expected me, however
Mm.
much people clap, and they're like, "Oh, he's an aircraft engineer, and he does this." People expected me, Samantha, to be on the side of the road dancing for money.
And you actually did what you thought was right for you to do as Richard.
That's it. So I feel like I beat the expectation and the bars that certain people set, and now I challenge the person who then puts a bar forward.
Yeah.
The only bar right now they have for my side, and I feel like where this shows almost like an attack, is the
Yeah.
marriage bar. But we'll cross that journey
Yeah.
when we get there.
Yes, we shall. And I just want to, on that particular note, I just want to say that there are certain people that actually live for approval instead of authenticity. Yeah.
Mm,
Mm. Because we usually
mm,
need to put in mind our mental and emotional well-being, but certain people get too clouded up, about what the society or what their family, has to say, and yes, and live miserably instead of actually, living life and enjoying life as it should be.
mm.
And thank you very much, Richard. Let's
Thank you,
go to,
Samantha.
could you please take on our next a question? And I would
Yes,
suggest go to
of
Taiwan.
course.
Let's talk
Of
about.
course, yes, 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 of course, yeah. So thank you for that input, Mr. Well, just say Richard, I suppose. Thank you for that, Richard. Very interesting points you met there, worth to ponder on. Now, we have our next question here for Bonnie. You're still awake. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's pretty late. So let's just get on with it. So I was thinking now, and this is a quite interesting question. I think it is, if you've ever, because I think we've all been there some way, somehow. Have you ever been forced to choose between your own happiness and your family's approval? So the dilemma of the two.
Mm.
Have you ever been in that situation? When I think about what you just told us earlier, have you
Yeah,
ever
right.
been in that situation? And how did you deal with it? If you have, I mean, I'm sure that's some things other people might want to hear and learn from.
Mm. I mean, of course, being the eldest in the family, like I said already, mentioned that
Mm,
the expectations are high on
yeah.
you.
Mm,
And also you gotta understand, like in this world, and one thing that I've learned now is that is the world is it's about people telling other people what to do. And sometimes it might not be the right thing, but people just enjoying other people what to do. Now, when we take it back to the family, if I talk about the closest family members, of course, I've been in a situation whereby it had to be either my happiness or pleasing my family members, and of course, I chose my happiness. If I had chosen to please them, I think I would have made mistakes in my life that I would have regretted for the rest of my life. So I've been in such situations whereby, you know, academically, relationships, you know, decisions about my next step in life. I remember being a musician, and my one of my family member gave me all these examples of how music doesn't get you anywhere, and
mm,
he get
mm,
she gave me references, talked about look at Philip Bongole Lutaya Yafa Sirimu, look at Jimmy Katumba Yafa Mwavo, look at I don't know what, and I'm like, how about why are we looking at the negative ones? And it's not even
mm,
negative, by the way. There was life, and
mm,
later on, it came to be that music put food on the table for all of us. And I had to
Amazing.
remind them, I'm like, listen, music has made me travel. I've traveled a couple of countries. I've been all over the place. Music has, brought this. So for me, that's just like a little example to show you that how I was discouraged and I was told, listen, do not pursue that. We would think you're better being like this or doing this or appearing like this. And I chose my happiness over the expectations.
That is absolutely amazing, I think, and that just goes to show there, Bonnie, that sometimes we need to go with our guts, and yes, we need to go with our guts, because if you allow other people's expectations to hold you back, you may never discover what you were made for. You may never discover what's out there. And as I often say, that the comfort zone, once we leave the comfort zone, we leave the circle, and we go over in that may seem uncomfortable, that's often where the magic lies, And I have to say, for you, it definitely has worked out in that way. And sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we actually allowed these expectations to be over our heads. And it also reminds me of the fact that sometimes it's a idea we need to make our own decisions. It reminds me of Sinatra. I Did It My Way. I'm sure you know that song.
Definitely.
Yes. And so, the way he goes about that, I may have done this, I may have done that, I may not have done this, but at the end of the day, when all is said and done, I did it my way. And so if things went fine, that is up to me. If they didn't go well, that's also up to me. But it's definitely not going to be up to you setting up your bars of what expectations should be over my life. You get me? And so I think that's an amazing input for us. And then I just want to double check also in terms of the emotional pressure. And I know we make these decisions, either we go with those expectations or we go against it, if you wish. Whichever side we choose to go for, there is, I suppose, an unexpected or expected pressure emotionally that ties in with that, because if you go against your uncle, your auntie, or your dad, in terms of the culture part of it, where we have in Uganda, it's all about this thing of I'm expecting this of you and this and that of you, and you choose to go the opposite direction. There is some emotional part that comes with that. Would you agree, or have you ever experienced it? What is your take on that?
All right, of course. I'll mention this again. It depends on what family you come from, or your there are families that do not care. You do whatever you do. It's fine. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, it's up to you. And then there are families that really do care. Like I said, they try to keep a legacy, and they'll tell you, I even remember when I rokoka, I was like, okay, I'm born again now, and I was told, no, family affair in Katolici. We're Catholics and they can't do this and they can't do that. And I felt like I'm making a mistake, but no, I'm not. I'm actually believing in God. It's the same thing, literally. So, stuff like that. So there's that emotional pressure. It's quite immense just to please people or try to reach expectations that sometimes you can't even reach. That's not even you. It's like, there's a saying that says, if you try to, we're not the same. So if you try to judge a fish by climbing a tree, you're just being unrealistic. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
so
yes.
Yeah, you can't do that. So yes, the pressure is there emotionally, because sometimes you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go against everyone and do this. I know they have this expectation. I'm gonna do something else. What if I'm wrong? What if I make a mistake? What if I mess this up? But like again, you mentioned it, like following your guts. So you follow your gut, and then that still voice. It's like, hey, do it. You can do this. This is the path you wanna take. Take that path, and then you succeed. And then everybody else has no option but just shut up. Because usually, honestly, because usually the same people who are talking, the moment they see that this has happened, they act like they even never knew, or they were never part of the criticism, or they were never part of the people putting pressure on you. So that's basically.
I mean, I think you are absolutely amazing, and I think it's always wonderful to see and to experience when it actually does work out. You know, when your guts gives you that particular that particular fruit of what you went through or what people go through when they are faced with such expectations. And also, I would also say that you mentioned something about generational. I think that is such an important point. The generational expectations that they go down through generations, and that we often hear, my dad or your jaja or your granddad did this, so this is what you're also supposed to. And they forget. I think most of the time our parents, or we parents may forget that there are different times. Things were in a different context. Okay, and so the world keeps on changing. So because you are a doctor, dad, I don't necessarily need to be a doctor. I can be something that is within that line, but something else, something more interesting, something that makes my heart go on fire. You know, I want to use myself in a different way, dad, you know, and I think that is often forgotten. And then people go with, you are like this, then you should be like, no, but that is not the case. And I think it's also often forgotten that we also have expectations to ourselves. My expectation is not necessarily to live up to your expectation. My expectation that I'm going to live with, because it's me, it's to do and to commit to myself to being a musician, to being an aircraft engineer, to go to uni. That is the path I'm deciding to take. And so sometimes it's important, I think, to question ourselves. Am I going to live up to my parents' expectations? Or am I going to live up to my expectations as myself? At the end of the day, I'm living my life. But again, as you say there, Bonnie, it's different from culture, from family background. Some families couldn't care less. But there's also an element of a feel-good feeling when parents or family do care, you know, because it can take us in this way or it can take us the other way, you know. And I suppose sometimes when you have, as Richard mentioned earlier, that there are also people that don't have expectations of you. That is not also necessarily a healthy place to be, you know. And so I totally and utterly agree with you on so many points there. Thank you so much. I suppose that Mr. Mr. Richard, what's up? Yes. What would you say about the emotional pressure that comes with that thing of, you know, because you explained something about family members having these expectations of you, and some of them didn't have any. And again, depending on which parent is, you know, which family member is pulling at you and who's not. You know, the pulling and the tagging in between. Any emotional pressure there? Very shortly there before I throw it back to Samantha.
So there was little bits of emotional pressure, and I feel like the community tends to ostracize those that they don't feel are doing well. They keep you aside. You are excluded from. I'd say, you know, it's funny that within families we do have family cliques, and there are people that are expected to do certain things, and then certain people, however much you ignore and then you say, well, I don't want to do this, you feel rejected, you feel lonely. But then after working within the psychological side of things, I discovered that feelings are reactions, and then I have to find out what's causing that reaction. And once
Yes.
I discover what causes the reaction, then I discover that my feelings are really controlled by another person. And that's
Mm,
where the power dies. But
mm,
originally, I felt rejected. And with that rejection comes the I need to act for the community. Until you ask or you observe the way people actually take it in, and this performance thing kind of dies, because then you discover whatever I'm going to do is really not going to please you, and you've done this as something as a way of you gratifying your own view of me. You had a
Yes.
certain expectation, and once that died, I would say, so did the emotions go with it.
Yes.
I discover within this entire thing that we have what we call traditions, family traditions. And if you break it down in simple English, it's trade additions. It's a trade that everybody carried on in a certain generation. And this is a new trade addition that you bring into me. Things that worked in the
Mm,
80s or in the
absolutely.
70s might
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
that's
I like
trade
it.
might not work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna follow your trade addition for me. This is a different trade. Nowadays, back in the days, they used to say abantu badetinganga nja kumusanga kumuti oba kumuyembe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
Nowadays, the muyembe is online.
Mm,
Right.
mm.
Right.
True.
The
Yes.
muyembe is online. So, you cannot tell me, oh, tonaba kumitinga muntu kumuyembe. It's
Yeah.
not the same thing. Back in the
No.
days, people used to say, "Oh, ono muntu waberanga ina Mercedes, or
Mm,
kugenda noyo. You have to have a Mercedes." And it's almost like,
mm.
what if we've already driven Mercedes?
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
different trade addition, so you cannot
Mm-hmm.
pressure me into that. Back in the
Yes.
days, somebody having an A-star ono muntu asumyenyo used to be the bar, and now that trade addition has died. And
Yes.
if the trade edition dies, so do the
Yes.
emotions. Because the
Yes.
trade edition is the thing that follows up.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it's the thing that follows up and causes us to dance. And once you
Yeah.
discover that you are just a puppet in a bigger
For sure.
tradition, it
Mm-hmm.
it changes. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 it does. Amazing. I love it. I'm here doing, yeah, 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 that's it. Oh, yes, 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 I love it, love it. So the points that you're coming with are quite interesting, and I really appreciate them. And I love the tradition thing, the tradition stuff. I'm learning so much on this show already. I mean, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, everybody. I'm learning so many things. I love the whole idea of the tradition, or the thing that it's a trading thing that they're carrying down to you, where that may have changed for you, where that it may have worked at that time, but it's not necessarily going to work for me. Also, that I'm choosing, you may have danced to some sort of music back then, but now the music has changed, and I am moved by different kind of music. And so it's a holiday. You can't force me to stand up and dance to something that doesn't move me. It may have moved you. I appreciate it. I love you for it. But for me, it's a different story. And so I think that is a very interesting point, plus all the other points that our wonderful guests have been coming with so far. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Samantha.
Thank you, Janita. Yeah, that was quite catchy. That was quite interesting. It's really nice to hear you two, like interact. But before we move on, I just want to bring Bonnie Cross back because, like we said earlier at the beginning of the show, that it was too late already in Taiwan, and one of our guests needs to leave so he can rest as well. Bonnie Cross, before I let you say your last remarks, I would like to go back. I'm going back on what you gave it earlier, and I want to ask you a question. That what would you do in case you started to, let's say, date a woman, or you were in love with a woman, and suddenly your parents, your mom or your dad, tells you that no, you cannot be with her, we don't like her for ABCD reasons. They tell you that you have to stop or cut communication with her. What would you do in that scenario? Or what would you do in a scenario where, let's say, you're now grown up and one of your children comes to you with someone that they would like to marry, and they tell you, Dad, this is a person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And to you, you've probably noticed something that they have not. And you're like, no, you know what? The person is not right for you. Do you think you can actually ever be in such a scenario? Or has it actually occurred to you? Or just take us through what you would actually advise or recommend someone to do in such a scenario. Sorry, Bonnie Cross, you're muted. Unmute your mic.
Sorry. Very good question. I'm married now, so But I would like to take it back a little bit just to a real life experience because the person that I got married to, it wasn't on my side, but everybody else said no. I'm a musician, you know, I'm just a little dude, a little guy who looks like he has no future. And they said no, but the parents apparently they were
Yeah.
like, if that's what you're going for, go for that. So I think it depends on the parents, but also it depends on what reasons are your parents who might not be parents. It could be other family members close to you or not even close to you, telling you not to marry such a person because of their reasons or whatever reasons they have. Those reasons should be solid. That's what I could say. They should be reasons that, beyond a reasonable doubt, they make sense and justify the reason not to marry somebody. Could be discipline issues, character, personality, history, whatever. But those issues or those reasons not to marry the person should be justifiable. I could say that. And like I said, I've gone through it once and I know what it is. But now,
Yeah.
also as a parent, because I think about this all the time, and I'm like, hey, listen, if my children grow up and they come here and they're like, hey, listen, this is the person I've chosen.
Mm,
I'm asking for God's grace
mm.
that I might not be that person
Yeah.
who, just, you know, act to judge, act out of haste, and just to because I don't think I like how the person looks like, or I was expecting something better.
Mm,
Ngasi mweru, ngasi mwanvu,
mm.
those little standards that they put, ngasi mugaga, yasuma kwenkanawa, like I think as a parent or even our parents, I think we all need to have open hearts and open minds, and to let God. I believe in God, so to let God speak to us and show us, because sometimes what you judge is not the right thing or the right way to judge somebody. I mean, if I was judged by my wife's parents, we wouldn't be together, but everybody else judged me, but I didn't care because I mean they want the parents, and look at us now. So what I'm trying to say is, um, it's very important, very very important, to make sure that as a parent, you whatever you say or whatever opinion you have about someone's relationship or whoever they want to date or get married to, it shouldn't turn against you to make you look like sometimes the opinions we make us look like fools because you said, oh, don't do this because this is wrong, that's the wrong person, I think you're going the wrong way, and then all of a sudden you realize that you're wrong and now you're embarrassed because whatever you said really didn't add up. So I personally think that yes, parents can have a say in
Yeah.
a relationship,
Yeah.
but it should be out of love
Okay.
and not just out of judgment,
Okay.
according to how they feel.
So, Bonnie Curse, in your perception, it is very okay. And if your parents have or had, genuine reasons to stop you from marrying a certain person, you would be okay with it.
It is very
Most of
okay.
the
I'll give you
time,
another
it is
example.
very
I used
okay.
to,
Okay. As long as
I
they're
used,
valid reasons and you see them as well, then you would
yeah.
be fine.
It is mukuru, awadugare,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay, fine.
Uh,
That is
I
good.
remember very well.
Yes.
I dated a
Yeah.
girl
Yeah.
from Watoro Church.
Mm,
And I spent a lot of money on her, a lot of money on her. Like,
yeah.
just being a man, you gotta do it, right? You gotta spend the money. And
Yeah.
I did all these things, but then this was not even like, he was a close family friend, and she told me, "Boni wetaga omuntu nga ajja kwagala gwe ne family yo." That's all she said. Ajja
Yeah.
kwagala gwe ne family yo. Because when she looked at this person, like, okay, akwagala nga gwe nga bwoli. I didn't maybe tayagala gwe, but maybe she loves what you do for her. But
What you're
now,
giving up. Mm,
exactly. But when you try to expand the whole thing, introduce your family to her,
yeah.
is that love gonna continue? So when she
Yeah.
told me that, it actually turned out to be true. That the other person would never or wouldn't have accepted my family. And I came to see it pass. So you realize that it's very important to also have the elders, the parents, the family say in a
Yeah.
relationship. Like again, I said, out of
Mm.
love and
Yes.
not out of haste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bonnie Cross, another one, just to summarize this. Yeah, the final one that I'm going to take with you. Love is deeply personal, but in many families, it's also seen as a collective decision, right?
Mm.
Do you believe the parents should guide or influence who their children love? Which one would it be? Would it be better for the parents to guide or
Mm.
actually influence?
Yeah, it's good you've asked. You've brought two vocabulary words:
Yeah,
influence and guide.
and guide. Yeah.
Influencing, that's a no-go area. Nobody should influence who loves who.
Okay.
But also gotta be careful in this world, man. Like you just can't tell people what to do.
Yeah. But you
So
just said, and so your mukulu walaba. So what if your mukulu has seen something about the person and they are influencing your decision that omanyi mwana wange sigenda kukkiriza kuwasa muwala ono. It's either you choose between me or omuwala. Naye w'omulondera todda wange, we disown you. What
well,
would you do in such a
that's a bit extreme, I would say.
that's
I
extreme?
think
But
again, using that
it happens. I've seen,
it does,
high
but it shouldn't happen
people.
though, because
Mm.
that's where you get a lot of families drifting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you start threatening somebody like, "Oh, you're Mwasatoda Nawang," then
Yeah.
that's taking it to the next level. But you just mentioned about guiding, and I
Yeah.
would suggest guiding will be the best thing. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
want to go, you go, you guide them. And also, I
Yeah.
think as parents, we need wisdom, or parents need wisdom on how, because listen, when someone falls in love, that's a very delicate matter. It's personal for sure. They could be doing a mistake, but it's still personal. And
Yeah.
the way you approach that person can bring about a rift between you
Yeah.
two. Nakuchaida dara, or will appreciate you for the rest of your life. Bagamba awali abagalana totekechi cho.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends again on the situation. If you're saying that the person is involved in the love foolishly and blindly,
Yeah.
I believe you have to like accelerate on how you guide them, not to make a mistake. But if you find like maybe she doesn't know what she's doing, he doesn't know what he's doing, they're both naive, he's naive, and then like I said again, you just need the wisdom to guide them, but also you have to leave a benefit of doubt.
Okay.
Because sometimes I've already told you, like, if the parents of my wife judge me on their first look, I wouldn't be married to her. Because everybody else said, nope, not him. And they were like, it's okay. We'll see how this goes. And it worked out. So like I said again,
right?
Everything should be out of love, but also should involve wisdom. Yeah.
We learn from our mistakes. So sometimes I think parents should let their children, go through certain things, let them fall, and they will rise up again. Because usually when you do something and you experience it, then you know better. You become smarter, you become wiser. So it is actually, I think, better to guide than influence. Lastly, of course, where is the line between guidance and control? What would you say about that?
It's a thin line.
Yeah.
It should be thick though, but it's thin. Because here's the thing, like if I try to guide you, and you're not getting it, I'm gonna end up controlling you. Because now I'm thinking like, check it out, take it easy. So I'm just gonna like forcefully guide you. Like you just mentioned, like but I don't think that's how it starts.
Okay.
It's also like, do you think that's the right person? It's the right person, but I don't think it's the right person. I think it's the right person. Okay, if you think it's the right person, then me and you, we're done. See how it escalates.
Yeah.
But the line is thin between control and guidance. I think as parents, every parent wherever they are, and even our parents in the past, if this has ever happened, I think because we learn every day in these situations. And we also have to train ourselves. You have to think about, what if this happened? If my child came with this situation, how would I handle it?
Yeah.
I gotta start practicing. I gotta start like training myself how I can handle this situation. So if it comes to me, I do not blow up. You know, and what I'm trying to say is, like, we have to make sure that we create a very proper borderline between controlling and guidance. But
Right.
of course, more guidance, less control. The
All right.
control only comes if you
Yeah.
feel like, this situation that I'm dealing with, this person, I see is their downfall. So I'm
Mm.
not, yeah, because some people need to be helped. There's what they call an enlightened dictatorship,
Yeah.
whereby you force something on someone, but it's for their own benefit. But most importantly, it should be guidance and less control.
All right. Thank you very much for that wonderful submission, Bonnie Cross. You've made this very clear. At least I'm sure everyone out there has gotten the difference between guidance and control. We shall supplement more on it, but for now, I'm going to request you to actually give us your last remarks so we can let you go. Bonnie Cross, it's always a pleasure having you here on Neuroforum Uganda. Your input, your info, knowledge, and presence as well really delight us, and we want to say thank you so much, and may God bless you always and keep you alive for us. We love
Appreciate
you all here on Eurofarm Uganda, and stay blessed.
All right. Thank you, Euroforum Uganda. We love you so much. Happy New Year to everybody, all our viewers. I love this, and I will definitely be here anytime I'm needed, because I do not only submit but also learn from other panelists, and I'd like to thank them all. Thank you. It's great to meet new people, and great to hear their wisdom and their ideas, and the fact that the people of importance. I mean, I've never talked to an aircraft engineer ever before in my whole life, so yeah, it's a blessing, it's an honor. And to Miss Juanita, same with you. It's lovely to talk to you guys. Thank you so much. And once again, everything should be out of love. All right. Have a good night. Be blessed.
Good night. Bye, and thank you. All right. To all our viewers, that was Bonnie Cross, all the way from Taiwan. He was here with us briefly, but vividly. We felt him, we shared with him, and we heard from him. So as we move on, I'll just want to say that for all of our people, brothers and sisters back home in Uganda, kindly visit Vena Farm Lodge, that is located on plot 12, Buyege, opposite Buyege Catholic Church in Uganda. For their contact, call 0778 5750 and you can as well send them email on venafarmlodge.com. I'll say this again: Vena Farm Lodge, located on plot 12, Buyege, opposite Buyege Catholic Church. Their contact number is +256 785750 You can also email them on venafarmlodge.com. Moving forward, I would like to take Richard. Yeah, Mommy Richard.
Yes.
I want to ask you to also, give us your submission. Take us through. Can you also let us know what you feel is the difference, or where the line is between guidance and control? Do you believe that we as parents should actually guide or influence our children when it comes to the people that they love?
Before I give that submission, I just got to say Mr. Cross done an absolute awesome job right there. And after just smashing it, he just left.
Yeah.
God, the time zones really screw us over. But I feel like guidance and control is a no-no. At any time, it's a no-no. Guidance should always come from a place of journey. Because when I see Everybody takes a certain journey. And that's why I was recently learning about changing the direction of where you go. And somebody who guides you should have already been on that journey. And if you've been on that journey, then you can guide me. It's almost like everybody has maps, or like you have your GPS. GPS guides you, doesn't control you. It doesn't force you to go a certain way. It only tells you, you know what, take this way, because I've seen all different paths and how they work. And I love that we've got Christians in line. God does not control where you go, He guides you and He leads you in a place has already been. He never really controls you to where you need to go. So control is actually demonic. And control, for somebody to control you, has to have a major part of manipulation behind it, because you have to bring fear for you to take me wherever you need to take me. So I really love the side of guidance. The
Yeah,
person who guides me, they've been there.
yeah,
That we tend to use this word called generation or regeneration.
yeah.
Um, the genes that we have inside of us, we're not the first ones to have them. There are people before us who had these genes. And when they had these genes, they kind of run the same way. That's why we look like people who've been before. So when you see me, you see not just me, you see my grandparents, you see my great grandparents, you see my family. And if they had taken the wrong path, I wouldn't be where I am.
Mm-hmm.
So we stand on the shoulder of giants. And those giants are the ones who then guide you. They don't control you,
Yeah.
because they know that in the generation or the gene oration, where their genes were becoming where they are. Because we start as cells and then we manifest into this thing. And the way our great grandparents live is they regenerate through us, and then they guide you and they go, you don't want to do that. You don't want to take the other path, because if you take that path, unfortunately, it's going to mess up your gene oration for the coming times. Because we see people who sometimes didn't listen, and then it messed up where they were going in life. And they tend to tell you that one of the most important things you do when you're moving through life is the partner you choose. Now, that's not just sex. And this is to do with even friends you work with. There are people who are either going to come into your life to build you, or they're going to be people who are going to destroy you. And the people who've really been through an experience of those disappointments will then guide you. They'll say, you know what? This is where it's going to lead. Why? I'm only advising you and guiding you down to mistakes I made. I never listened to anybody that has never made mistakes. No way. If somebody tells me, you know what, I took that path and it messed up, I'll take their guidance. So, yes.
Amen to that. Yes, like we say, experience is the best teacher. So you cannot guide someone unless you actually have experienced something along the same path. So you are definitely very right about that, Richard. And I strongly concur with you on that one. People out there, to all our viewers, you have heard, from Richard himself. He says that it always rather it's better to guide than control, because when you guide with love, or you guide through experience as well, trying to stop or prevent the other person from doing the same mistake that you did as well in the past. So remember, always, do not control people, do not influence people, but just simply try to guide them. And remember, we guide people that are willing to be guided. Do not, do it forcefully. Do not impact yourself onto somebody if they are not ready or willing to actually take your guidance. Moving on, I would like to flip the mic to Jonita and ask her to, take us through the next session. Jonita, can you speak to Richard about our next our next line of discussion. The floor is all yours.
The floor is all mine. Yay. Yes,
Yes.
I've been enjoying. I've been enjoying the chats. I've been listening in. I've been taking all in, and I also, just before I proceed, I want to thank everybody that is, following here and viewing. Our viewers. I can see questions are popping up and comments are popping up. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. That is what UG Forum is all about: connecting with the people through learning, elevating, and of course empowering. And I can tell you, I've had some share of education here today. Thank you so much so far. And so I was thinking while you're speaking, Richard, about I'm all crazy about this generational thing and the traditional thing. I love the way that those words that you are calling those words and dividing them up to actually really give sense to me. And so it led me to think also with this whole idea of parents being involved in our lives in terms of decisions that we might be making, and having the expectations on us. While we are saying, while one will say, the other side will say, oh no, that shouldn't be something that they should be part of. This is our lives, ABCD. That's one side of the argument. But would you also maybe argue? Can we also have could we also have an argument about the whole idea that these very parents, I think you're a little bit on it actually, these very parents and these very people that are guiding and having this expectation of us, could that be part of the protection? Is it more about protecting us? Is it more about the culture? Is it about the reputation of the family? Because sometimes I have felt that when people, some parents or some elders of whoever is closest to us, when they are putting expectations on us, sometimes it is more for selfish gain rather than for me. So it's more to protect their family, to protect the reputation, to protect the culture, rather than thinking about, as you said before, that was a generation before. Now we're here. And you don't have to protect me against anything in that way, because I'm at a different time. I'm not where you used to be. And so my question for you really, what is your take on that? Would you say that when they do that, it's in the spirit of protecting the culture, the reputation, their own name, their family, where would you think that would be heading to?
Thank you so much for that question.
I hope I'm clear.
And I absolutely thank you for the question, because then it lets you distinguish between most of these things. Protection, I really love that, comes out of love.
Mm-hmm.
Protection never comes out of how's our family going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing I really like when Mr. Cross was speaking, figure out, before you then feel attacked, first figure out what kind of family you're dealing with.
Yes.
Figure out before, because I kind of picked up this thing some time back, is before I want to be understood, I want to understand where other people are coming from.
I love it.
How they perceive me. And so
Yes.
before you say that you're going to protect me, I first have to know, how do you perceive me? Now, we have females and we have males. The way you protect a female to the way you protect a male are two different ways. Because sometimes when you tell a male, if you're protecting a male, you're protecting them of overusing their energy. And telling them, you know what, I know the way men love is they would literally work. And the way ladies love is they will nurture. And so if you're protecting a lady, you're like, listen, I know you like to nurture, but
yes,
down the road, this thing that you're trying to nurture is going to grow up, and it's either going to bite you or it's going to swallow you.
Uh-huh.
So I know a snake sometimes looks so good. It's got good skin, and cobra, not cobras, what you call it, anacondas and pythons. They got the muscle, and ladies sometimes love the anacondas, and sorry, this can be read a different way, but
I understand. I understand in
right,
the spirit of
they
visual.
they
Yes.
they like, but that same muscle that you're chasing, right? You have to find parts where you test that same person who's showing you the muscle, because that same muscle could be the same muscle that's going to hand a can of whoop ass down the
Yes.
road.
Yes.
So I tend to
Yes.
see how people use their strength as men to protect. So
Yes.
if my family's saying they're protecting me from somebody, I need to
Yes.
see how have they defined the person and how have they defined me. Because
Yes.
sometimes you find females that can fight for themselves, and sometimes you find females that are vulnerable. So when they say, "Are you going to protect our daughter?"
Mhm.
And if the person then says, "I'm not going to protect your daughter and she better does this," then the family has to step in and they go, "Baby, we we raised you a certain way, where we protected you, and this person's not going to protect you the way we wanted you to be protected, because they're
Mm.
not going to show you the love we did." So when it comes to the guy's side, it's the same way. Your family has invested so much in you. And hopefully, the family we all come from is they've invested that in you for you to live your best out of love. It's not we invest in all of this so we can look good. No, it's got to be out of love. So, first, figuring out the family we talking about here, as Mr. Cross said, figure out the family. Was your family loving? Are the pressures they're putting behind you, are they out of love? Is their protection out of love or out of how they look? And that one thing right there tends to be a great distinguisher of
Mm.
how things work. So sometimes I really love that Mr. Cross literally said what he said. He goes, what do gala it is
Umkhulu workers, umkhulu something.
yeah, so
Mm.
grown-ups will normally see the dirty area. That's the
Mm.
way. And
Blind
so,
spot.
and so he shared his own story of
Mm.
I mean that was deep, because he actually
Mm.
said she was more about the money. And it's almost like then
Mm.
somebody said, "You know what? I'm protecting you.
Mm.
Mr. Cross, I know you're hardworking, you love to take care of people, she's gonna drain you dry." That
Mhm.
was protecting him. It's not the
Mhm.
same way as she's going to beat you up. No, it's
Mhm.
more she's
Mhm.
going to drain you. You're going to do
Mm.
all of this stuff and she's going to drain you. So I feel
Mm.
like protection has to be out of love and how much the
Mm.
family has invested in you for you to get where you are.
Mm.
Bazaddebango
Yes.
babeera sorry, I switched for a moment.
Mm.
Bazadde bange babeera babadde bandabirira bulungi nga
Mm.
bantrustinga.
Mm.
Tebampita malaya. Gwe n'otandika
Yes.
okumpita malaya.
Yes.
Whoa, I got to step aside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bazadde
Yeah.
bange babeera tebampita muyaye. Gwe n'otandika okumpita omuyaye. Do you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
Maybe
Right.
home a little
So
more.
that's the part. Bazadde bange bagamba nti, "No, oh, watch out for that person. Mpise akuyita omuyaye, agenda kuyisa ng'omuyaye." I'll definitely listen to them because this person really doesn't know me. Then I'll take the
Mm.
protection.
Yes.
They're protecting me from people who are going to treat me like omuyaye.
Yes.
And vice
Yes.
versa. They're going to protect me from abantu abagenda okumpisanga or malaya. Like,
Yes.
and that's the reason why I really like the culture sometimes.
Mm.
The Kwanjula, Kuchala. So you get to know those people and then they can
Yes.
advise, you know what, baby, you're raising a family where we give you the
Mm.
best. This
Mm.
person's not even willing to give you a half of that. Run.
Yes. No, I mean
Run.
that is one heck of a submission. And you are so right. Yes. I mean, absolutely. I think this whole life experience, and I think often when parents trying to tell us, as you said, the culture thing, that someone, you may be raised as a princess, and then you meet someone whose family is saying, that you are the opposite of that. You may want to question, where am I heading to? And I think also on the other positive side of expectations in terms of our parents, in terms of them guiding us, in terms of who we love or who we fall in love with or who we want to build our lives with, I think often it is that they are in some regards good at seeing the red flags, perhaps, because when you are in love, when you are in this bubble of love, I'm sure you guys know what that is. There is nothing that can pass by you. There's nothing they can do wrong. And so you have almost, it's like these insurance thing that are like people that are around you, to see people who really care about you, who love you, and who wants the best for you, who are willing to see the red flags, who see all these the blind spots that you may not see because you're so focused on driving this way. You're not going to look in the side. You're not going to use the rear mirror. You're just driving this way. And so having them in, it's almost like a check-in. And so again, we go back to that whole thing that if they do that, when they do that, and it's out of love, and as you said earlier, that it's people that are close to you, you know very well that this person wants the best for me. This is my person. And sometimes it's actually okay to take heed of that and listen and learn and take a step back and see things from a view. From a view, I would call it the bird perspective, so that you can look and see, oh, they're telling me this. It could be, it might be, so we don't just blindly go through it. I can share a very short story about myself in terms of these expectations and in terms of people, not listening in when maybe I should have listened in. Do you understand that? That there was a time where I made a decision where I did not involve my family. I did not involve my parents. I did not involve anybody. I went through with this decision that was actually life-changing, 100%. Although that change came in and it later on it has borne some good fruits, if I had listened in at that time, I am sure that my decision would have made a whole lot of difference. I would have made a different decision had I involved my family, had I involved my dad. What we call in Luganda, okwebu zako. Okwebu zako, newebu zako ku Samantha, Muganda, newebu zako ku Moses, newebu zako ku Richard. People that love you and care for you, and hear what they have to say. Get them to meet this person that you are falling in love with. Get them to meet in different circumstances so that they might be able to see things that you are so blinded to because you are so in love. You get me? When it comes to decision making that are life-changing. And so I totally agree with that sometimes we need to stop up, take a step back, and maybe listen. And you know what? Nobody says you have to go with what you're advised to do or what you're being guided to. But I think it's always important to listen, to have an ear, and then you can sort out this I'm going to take, this I'm not going to take, this I'm going to live, this I'm going to, put aside in terms of where our lives are going. And I love the fact, Richard, when you say that whole thing of the kind of family, again, you were going back to what Cross was saying, that what kind of family am I from? What kind of family am I from, and what kind of family I'm actually going into? That is, what kind of family am I from? And are you too blind to see the family you're going into? Do they have the same desires to elevate, to empower, to support you, like the family you're coming from? Do they have an eye for you, like the family that you come from? If you come from a good family, you understand? So the expectations are there. So I think that's amazing, and I just want to thank you for that sharing of that. I really found that perspective quite interesting. And then again, I would say, have you yourself, Richard, just like a side thing, have you ever been in a situation where you felt like love was you were in a dilemma where it was love or family? Love, family. When we go back to the whole thing of now we narrow it down to the partner choosing. I don't know if you're in a relationship or have been, or if you're married, that I'm not so certain about. If we take it back to our experiences, if we reflect on your life, or even if you haven't, it doesn't matter. What would you say being in love and having that family expectation? I'm thinking about Romeo and Juliet, for example, if you know that, you know, yeah, yeah. So if you think about the Romeo and Juliet situation, I mean, how they dealt with it was a different story, but how would you say, if we had to look at it from a modern perspective, how would you suggest, how would you tell or advise someone in that situation? How would you advise yourself? How would you advise me, Samantha, in that situation? I mean, I'm so much in love, but my family expect me to get someone who has a Mercedes Benz, because I actually think that's a very big problem in Uganda. There's so many expectations. So many young girls are raised up today told tonde tramsaja mwavu, the tramsaja ina sense, tonde tramsaja bwat ne bwat, and this has pushed our young girls into relationships that end up being abusive, that end up being dangerous, that end up being where they're not living their full selves because mommy and daddy are expecting us to marry to marry a specific kind of man. And that goes back to my question before, the selfish reasons for parents or the elders, I would say, to have these expectations on us. I don't know if I'm clear, if I'm...
No, that the question makes a whole lot of sense. It's multifaceted.
Yeah,
And,
I'm just thinking broad, like community-wise, I'm thinking broad, the macro perspective of it.
So, with personal experiences, I've had family. It's weird. Family. I'm blessed enough to grow in a family where I was the only boy. And so I've had three very protective sisters. I would say two of them are more protective because I'm like the third, and then I have a younger sister. So
Okay.
my two older sisters got to put me in a place where I got to learn so much from what guys were doing on the outside to get
Yes.
to them. And
Yes.
they were my first, I wouldn't say guidance, but they were my first lesson. I saw guys doing things and I used to sit there and I used to be like, you sucker. I used to be like, I wouldn't do that. And you could see right after the guys left what happened. And family was not so picky. They used to be like, love who you love. However, know who you are. So one thing I really love the culture and how I was cultured. Sometimes people use that word culture in a bad way. Culture comes from the word cultivated. Sometimes when we cultivate something, it's got a place where you plant it and it grows up. It's got a certain type of weather around it. And once it grows to a certain stage, you expect certain fruits from it, right? And so if another person comes in my life, and that's what I used to see, if you come in my life, you're not coming to complete me. You coming to complement me.
Amen. Yes. Yes.
Right. And so if I'm a tree, if I'm an apple tree, you're not coming to be my roots. You're coming to be a person who's either gonna prune me so I can bring more fruits, or you're a person who's gonna break my branches and I'm gonna be fruitless.
Yes.
So anytime somebody comes and they say they love me, they come in to build me, not to break me. And most of the times, my parents go, we brought you up to be this and this and this. And don't get me wrong, sometimes the generation we're in, and this is where I literally go in, males, especially our side, we tend to be very visual.
Yes.
And every guy becomes a sucker for the visual side. Now, I'm not out here hyping up my sisters, and no incest here. But according to the way I saw guys following my sisters, I was like, oh, I wish you knew her. I wish you actually knew her. So
Yes.
guys done a whole lot of stuff for my sisters, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's kind of funny, right? Because you've just seen her, you don't want to build her, you're talking about how she looks.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
original, and I'm like, you actually don't know her. And once
Yes.
some of them felt like they were getting to my sisters, they then tried to control them. And I was like, I wouldn't do that.
Yes.
And
Amen.
so I started using that as a reflection. I
Uh-huh.
know how loving my sisters were to people, what they would take and what they wouldn't take. So as I grew up, I became a sucker too. I
Uh-huh.
saw people who looked good.
And you went for it.
And then I went, and then I saw some of the things my sisters would do when they liked somebody. And then I saw other parts where people would use you. And
Yes.
that's where, I mean, there were mistakes. There were mistakes that were made. I'm not going to say that everything was smart, because there are people who were able to manipulate, that's that word, and then
Yes.
control.
Yes.
And then I discovered, whoa, this person's not here to grow me. Now,
Mhm.
people have different types of love, and that's why I tend to love this. We have the eros love, and we have the filler
Yes.
love, and different
Yes.
types of love. But a
Yes.
person who brings you in and really loves you has to
Yes.
grow you. You cannot
Yes.
tell me that you love me if you're
And you're
not
not.
all about how I improve, and that
Mm-hmm.
then becomes reciprocal. So
Mm-hmm.
this person loves me, I want to build them, and
Yes.
I love them, so I
Elevate
want them
them.
to succeed. And
Oh,
so
yes.
we become people who build each
Yes.
other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So sometimes, and again, it sometimes runs through scriptures, it says, when a man loves a woman, you leave your parents, right? But,
Mm-hmm.
or vice versa, when she loves him, she leaves her
Her
family,
parents, her home, her
right?
home.
Her
Yes.
home. But what are you releasing me unto? Are you releasing me unto hound dogs who are going to rip my tree apart because they've raised me like a plant? And sometimes you get people who turn up and they go, I love the fruit, but I
But do you have the
don't
roots?
love, right? I love the fruit,
Yes.
because sometimes
Mm,
gentlemen will see the girl and she looks good and she looks beautiful, and they
mm,
just want to rip the leaves off her.
mm.
Like,
Yes.
do you care how she got to look the way
Yes.
she looks?
Yes. 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 Yeah.
It's
Fitting
not
into a
how
story. Yeah.
right? It's not how
Mm,
she looks. What did
mm,
it take for her to look the way she looks? That's the way she
mm.
was cultured. You like the
Yes.
way she
Yes.
speaks, you
Right.
like the way she
Mm.
sits. Are you going to
Indeed.
invest in that? Or
Mm-hmm.
are you just going to use her as a trophy? Oh, mukyala wange
Mm.
afaanana bulungi, naye
Yes.
twagala kumuyamba kwezimba. You like
Yes.
how she looks, but you don't
Yes.
care how she
Yes.
can go farther. Same
Yes.
way as onjagala omusajja ng'akola ssente bw'ati ne bw'ati ne bw'ati, ng'akola ssente bw'ati ne bw'ati. I'm like, if you love
Yes.
him, help,
Yes.
help build him, help build her. And that's where, when it comes down to family, I'm like, and love, it's got to be, I mean, love is a doing thing. Love gives. Love has never been a taken thing. Lust is a taken thing. Love builds.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
my family see somebody taken from me and not building me, of course, I would definitely run into that. If somebody's
Yes.
destroying you and literally taking away from you, draining you, then that's not love. And you've been manipulated to
Yes.
think that that
Yes.
is love.
Yes. Thank
So
you so
the
much.
way,
Thank you so much, Richard. I mean that.
well,
Hello. That
hello,
was
sorry.
such an amazing. That was an amazing submission. Sorry if I caught you short there. Can you finish off? Sorry.
No, I was saying, so the way I have been cultured, or the way they planted me
Mm-hmm.
and they watered me and invested all that manure, you're the second part of my life. And I should be the second part of your life to invest more than what my parents or your parents invested in you. I should be the next level, the next generation of blessings to your life, to your life through love. Thanks.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much. And that is so right, because I think you know the whole idea of what you just said there, that I should be the way that we are cultured. If you are willing to build me, if you're willing to support me, if you're willing to be there for me, then yes, I'm gonna go. But the whole thing that you said about the roots, I think that is very, very important, and it's very, very crucial. Why do you love me? And I think there's so many people that are looking beyond that. If we go back to the topic that we've been on now, in terms of expectation, are you guiding me? Do you have these expectations because you believe that you are building onto these roots, or is it because you want to break down these roots? What are you looking to do? Because I have parents, I have family members, and all that stuff that might be there for me to strengthen my roots, to strengthen my ability to grow, to be the best version of myself. But there are also another side of members, elders, even good friends maybe, that are not only willing to see me not move forward, but these roots, to break the roots apart. And I think it's important to differentiate between the two. Are you with me? And are you sending me off? Are you guiding me about this relationship, this guy? Are you doing that because, are you for him because you can see that he wants to look at my roots and say, this is where this girl is from. I am interested in knowing about her story. I'm interested about knowing about her background. Who is she? Invest your time in knowing this girl before you move forward. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think there's a level of also ourselves as we might be guided, we may have these expectations, but where are we as people? And what personal responsibility are we taking for our own lives? Because I think it's important to, in spite of the expectations that are coming out and the guidance and this and that, I think it's very important to remember that when it comes to the people that we love, apparently the emotional stability will always belong to me. The emotional stability will always belong to me. I get to decide who I love. And sometimes we don't even get to decide who we love. Our hearts love and our heads go along, or our heads just go and our hearts just follow. And I've always said, where the man goes, where the mind goes, the man follows, and so sometimes it's also very important to stop up and say, hey, listen, this guy here, he's actually for me and not against me. This guy here wants to take care of my roots, right? To continually take care of my roots so that I can grow, so I can be the best that I can be. And so the guidance and the expectations may lead us into that, or it may not. But I think definitely for sure that there's a balance that needs to be. You need to own up to these challenges. You need to own up to these expectations. Either you say, I'm not going to go for it, or you say, I am, or I'm going to listen in. But at the end of the day, I'll make my decision based on what you have advised me to do. You understand? But it's a tricky one. But at the end of the day, you got to listen to your heart, and you got to listen to who you are as a person and where you see yourself going. Because at the end of the day, you are going to live with this partner, not your parents, not your uncle, not your this. If you choose to go that way. If you don't choose to go that way and you listen to your elders, you are the one that might be missing out on the best experience in life you could have ever had, and so it's okay to try out a little bit and see what's the story. It's okay to try it a little bit. But again, thank you so much for that. I want to say we had a Nakate Jessica. Thank you, Richard. We had a Nakate Jessica. They're saying some people get married to have to take care, not partnership. Some people get married to have a caretaker, not partnership. That's a very important point. And that's what I was speaking about before, that people get married sometimes to be taken care of. They find partners that should take care of them, and not the other way around. And that goes to go with Richard, what you just said before, that it has to go both ways also. You may want me to take care of you, but I wouldn't take care of me. You may want to take care of your emotional, your financial, your this and that, but how far are you willing to go for me? What is,
Thank you.
what is happening there? Let's go both ways. Let's not expect things to just happen,
We gotta move on. Yeah.
Yeah. And so another one, but the comments that I'm seeing here are all amazing, and many of them are all about love. There was a parent that wrote in as well who said, "Bring me anyone as long as you guys love each other, I will accept." And that was again Nakata Jessica. She was like, "Bring me anyone as long as you love each other, I will take that person on." But it's not a lot of parents that feel like that. I'm gonna throw this mic back to Samantha. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, thanks for your submissions, and thank you very much to my co-host, Jonita. Moving forward, I just want to say that we are getting to the end of our show, and I just want us to wrap it up. But before we do, I'm going to go and read out a few comments that have come in on our different platforms, including YouTube, where one Abby Collins Lucera says, great conversations here. Abby, we thank you very much for your interaction. And then somebody called AK2931 says that any chance for questions and answers. Very sorry about that. We were unable to respond in time, but your comments are very much appreciated. We also have another one at Love Protectors who says that, yes, out of love. I think that was to something that was being said earlier. And Kulabako Amuza says, a great conversation. Thank you very much. And another one again from At Love Protectors who says that, Nedda, I think parents shouldn't intervene when it comes to their children falling in love. Thank you very much, dear viewers, for all your interactions, for all your opinions. We do value each one of you, and we are here definitely because of you. Thank you for keeping tuned to Eurofarm Uganda. Moving on, I just want us to know that we are getting to the end of our show, but before we do summarize and leave, I just want to jet into one final perspective that will be talking about culture, tradition, and generational differences. It is a norm that many family conflicts come from different generations living in different realities. Yeah. So my final question of discussion to both Richard and Jonita is going to be that how do culture and tradition shape parental expectations? Do you think there's any way that culture and tradition help shape our parental expectations? I will start with our guest, Richard. Please take the floor and give us your submission on this. And thereafter, we'll give our final remarks and call it a day for now. Thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you so much, Samantha, for that. In the background, it's lovely that we're talking about this, but you can see live examples. Like in the background, you could actually Samantha being taken care of.
Okay, I didn't know you had captured that, Richard.
We're paying attention. We're paying attention, and we're learning.
Yeah.
I have to say with that question, definitely those things do affect the way our parents actually do expect. And unfortunately, I'll pay more attention to culture than tradition.
Okay.
Because traditions are subjective of where you've grown, but culture is subjective of grounding. So I would say tradition tends to be the wind of culture. So if culture is a place you've been, if culture is the farm, then tradition are the winds that will blow across that farm.
True, yeah.
So tradition comes and it goes.
Okay.
But culture is always grounded because that's where they tend to say, well, you cultured. This culture does this. So culture has land, but tradition doesn't.
Yes.
And so they'll say, this is the place you were cultured. Our cultural norms or cultural normal is this. This is what we find normal. But
Yeah.
tradition goes, if you, and I've found this so many times, when you have a poor family that then became wealthy, they get a new tradition.
That's
Back in
right.
the back in the days, you could find a family that used to say, "Oh, tradition ya fefe tulida kurusania."
Mm, that's true.
Nayenga tuli bacholi. Even though
Mm,
that's the tradition, and then you find some macholis in New York who absolutely will say, um, I know the tradition in Uganda used to be tulida kurusania, but where we are, we use forks and knives.
yeah.
So the tradition tends to blow wind. And then
Mm,
I wouldn't pay attention so much to the traditions my family puts there, because
yeah.
then it's subject to the winds that blew in that generation or their
Mm,
experiences. So I would say, okay, like same way we would say it's a tradition. I really love when you started, you said it's a tradition for us to pray before we start. Now, let's say there was a war, we wouldn't have we would have the same tradition, but if there was a war, that's a different wind that's blowing. But then you say, the way I was brought up, I wouldn't say it's tradition, it should be culture, the culture of a Christian or any other religion to pray before you move forward because you have a guiding force behind you. So I would say if my parents have a certain cultural expectation, it should be out of respect, out of growth for me, because that's the way I was cultured. Even if I change countries, I'm not going to throw away. I I'm a I'm a colored gentleman, you know, and that's the way I have been cultured. The traditions might change, of things I need to do. But guess what? My culture defines who I am. If I don't know where I'm coming from, then I don't know where I'm going. And that's where we find ourselves held into slavery. I really love the fact that Samantha had somebody in the background who did not try to change her culture, but complements her culture. But in the
yeah.
household, they have a different tradition. And I believe when Samantha was getting married, there was a way he respected the culture enough for him to follow the culture. So
That's
they're
right.
like, oh, tagena kuchusa o rimutu gavu, azali wo rimutu gavu, and you're gonna die.
Hmm.
And vice versa. The thing I've loved there, there's a point Samantha just forgot about us as she started speaking a different language. She's entered a different culture, but the
Yeah.
family did not affect that
Mm,
entire thing.
yeah.
So it does affect it, but the way we respect our cultures
Yeah.
should be a way our families then welcome that person in.
Mm, yeah.
So yes, it should have a certain effect, but a positive effect. Because
Yeah.
that means we're becoming multicultural. Samantha introduces this lovely gentleman and to Uganda, and then she advertises Uganda to a different spectrum where we all think, oh, or black people like this. Samantha's like, well, read into my culture, we don't do
Mm,
things like that.
yeah. Yeah.
But if you then introduce Ugandan tradition, ha,
But incidentally, they actually learn certain, traditions of
right.
ours as well because they want to be a part of us as well. So it's
That's
more like
it.
a two-way thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the thing that actually complemented that was the culture. Because
Yeah.
once the culture was peaceful, whatever
Mm,
tradition you're going to give anybody, they'll take.
they'll
Because they're
take it.
like, this person's being brought up a certain way. So, yes,
Yeah.
tradition and culture does affect the expectations. Don't lose who you are just because you've met somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
The expectation from our parents should be be who you are, still be black. Abaduka vabamu be yerusa, nebachuka, orinario chuka. And then I'm like, well, where's Sanganga? Ori before watari into the yerusa. And sometimes guys do exactly the same thing. And this is not shunning the
Oh,
ladies.
why? But no,
Guys, do-
Shanane.
no, guys shouldn't do that kind of stuff. I am so sorry. I am not attacking nobody.
Yeah, yeah,
Because all of a sudden you're changing the way
yeah,
the leaves look. You're
yeah,
changing the drapes.
yeah.
The bedanga wori mukama
Yeah.
wacho. That's the way
Wajokufunira
mukama.
owuwo.
Richard,
Wajokufunira owuwo.
Richard,
Tigere abagala
that reminds me of
bakadugala.
a joke, yeah, where we usually say that certain people really change themselves so much that
Yeah.
Mukama because they'll be like, this is not the person that
Thank you.
I created. A completely
Yeah, I
different
don't recognize you.
person, yeah. And
Right.
Richard, on that particular note, I remember when I went to Uganda, we were, I traveled with my man, and at a certain point, it's something natural because at home we speak the Finnish language, yeah. So we're just speaking Finnish, and I didn't realize that everybody else was quiet and just looking at us. So my mom told me, "Oh my God, Muwalawange, you speak Finnish language even better than your own mother tongue." And I'm like, you know what? I can't help it because when will I ever speak my mother tongue? I speak it maybe once in a year, but Finnish language is on a daily basis. It's in the household, it's at school, it's at work, it's everywhere. Everywhere I turn, it's Finnish language. So I should say I'm very, very fluent at it. And, to add on that, I should actually also supplement on your submission by saying that culture is not static. It evolves, and then respect does not mean surrendering your identity. Conversation bridges generational gaps. Yeah. So for all of you is out there, remember those three things. Yeah. You can get into somebody else's, culture or tradition, but you should know that culture is not static. It does evolve from time to time. And remember to respect yourself, because that does not mean that you're surrendering your identity. Stay true to yourself, and that way you will not miss a spot in heaven, because God made you as you, and just be the person that you are, like Richard said earlier. Yeah. So that is it. We are now getting to the end of our show. And before we do that, I just want to thank all our viewers out there, those that have been watching us on Facebook, those that have been engaging on YouTube, and some that are on TikTok. Thank you for being part of Eurofarm Uganda. We have been talking about how family expectations affect or influence our lives. Yeah. With me tonight have been two lovely guests. That was Bonnie Cross and the one and only Richard, plus my co-host from Denmark, Jonita Bale. We are now moving on to our closing statements. But before I do that, I just want to remind all our viewers out there that next week, Sunday, the 11th of January, we'll be having Sarah Kalyango, who will be hosting us from Denmark. No, she'll be hosting from Uganda, very sorry. And the topic of discussion will be the coffee link between Uganda and Europe. Yeah, next Sunday, 11th January, we'll be having Sarah, who will be hosting Mwami Musa Kalyango from Denmark. And they'll be talking about the coffee link between Uganda and Europe. So make sure you save the date, and please do not miss out, because it's going to be catchy, it's going to be intriguing. And remember, whenever you get part of these submissions or part of these talks, we all learn from each other. My closing remarks, I will say that family expectations can guide us, but they can also confine us. Love can unite families, but it can also reveal deep generational differences. The challenge is not choosing family and love. It's learning how to hold both with honesty, respect, and courage. True support means allowing our loved ones to grow into who they are, not who we expect them to be. To all our viewers out there and to my panelists, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being here. And on a special note, I would like to thank all my Euroforum team. Not forgetting our team leader, Mohamed Moses Mugisha. Your work is valued. We thank you very much. And on a special note, once again, Happy New Year. And I wish you all the best of the coming week. Okay. So Janita, please take on the mic. The floor is yours, and you can wrap up this session.
Thank you so much, Samantha. Thank you, Richard, and thank you so much for these wonderful submissions from all our guests, including Richard and Teke from London. Thank you so much, and Mr. Bonnie Cross from Taiwan, and my host, our host, the wonderful Samantha. Thank you so much. I just have a very final, very short conclusion that I have been taking my notes throughout this wonderful session here. And I just want to say, I don't know about you guys out there, but I have learned so much that I can take with me here today. And I'm so excited about that because, as I always say, the day that I stop learning will be the day that I cease to be. And so, which means life is about learning. We never stop to learn. And so I hope someone out there caught one or two lines that they can take with them. As my final put into today, my final input here today, concluding on everything, I would say that the healthiest approach is a balanced approach towards both love, expectation, and also in terms of tradition and culture. All right. I would always say have a curious approach to whoever is guiding you. Ask yourself questions of why you are guiding, why you're being guided, and basically who is guiding you, right? And another one is make sure that you're being guided and not being controlled, all right? And that parents should be free to share their opinions, or elders to share their opinions and their concerns about your supposed relationship or decisions. But the final decision will always have to lie with you because you would have to live in that decision, all right? And so a mutual respect between generations, mutual respect between parents, mutual respect between elders to their kids is also very important. And it's that creates the gap. As my host said before, conversation creates and removes the gap between the known and the unknown. And give yourself the time to make these decisions without any pressure from the outside. So again, don't allow people to maneuver and manipulate you into making decisions that you're not necessarily are happy with. And that I think that would create the best outcome. And before I move on, I just want to say, if you find yourself in a situation as we speak here today, that you are facing this very, very topic today, you are torn between, should I listen to that? Should I do this? What should I do? There is maybe some few steps that you can do to navigate yourself through this. First and foremost, I'll probably would be a good idea that you define what is their opinion and what's mine, right? What do they think and what do you think? Okay, so you need to clarify what you want. And then secondly, I would say, communicate your boundaries. Why is there these boundaries? Do it in a calm, specific, and consistent way with those that are guiding you. Instead of rejecting, translate. Explain why your path still honors the core values of the culture, of the tradition, or whatever that might be. Explain it's not because that you are moving away from what they did, but you're actually choosing to expand on it or take a different route. It's all for the good. Sometimes our parents feel stuck and they don't want to change anything, but really the thing is times are changing. And so time is the only thing that is constant in our lives. And then second last, I want to say, choose your battles. Not every expectation needs a showdown. Choose your battles, okay? And then get support from good family members, good friends, and mentors that are willing to listen and give you a listening ear. So my final take is that if you feel yourself that you're in that situation right now, navigating through it, there is always help to get. There's always people that are willing to talk about their experiences with you. And that is one of the most important things to do. Listen to people that have walked that path and take that upon you. And remember, just like Frank Sinatra said, whatever you do, if you've done it your way, you are responsible for whatever outcome that comes. You cannot point fingers if things went right or wrong. It all boils down to your choice. So once again, thank you so much, everybody here on UG Forum, our viewers, my wonderful co-host, beautiful, wonderful, amazing Samantha. Thank you, Richard, again. What a pleasure to meet you here today. And thank you for Cross again. Your input has been absolutely amazing. So with that said, I also want to thank the UG Forum who are behind all of this. It seems like it's an easy thing, but we have people that are hands and sets in the background that are doing all that is necessary. Before I round off, put everything in God's hands. Yeah, you cannot take decisions and make decisions without involving God in them. And usually that gives and has given me, since I decided to listen to God, it has given me the best outcome in terms of decisions in my life. And so thank you for today. And I'm just gonna, give you a little wink and a little wave and see you very soon, which is next Sunday, as my host advised you before. Yes, I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for today. Take good care of yourselves and have a lovely and blessed week ahead. Adios.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye. Adios.
To all my panelists and to our viewers and everyone that was here with us and shared their views and experiences and submissions. Let's keep the conversations going, but always remember that understanding begins with listening. So learn to listen and pay attention to your spouse and your friends, your surrounding. We have been Euroforum Uganda with your one and only host, Samantha. I love you all and be blessed.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers.